Benzobutyrantine is an organic compound with the chemical formula of C20H12, meaning it is made up of 20 carbon atoms and 12 hydrogen atoms. Compounds that are made up of both carbon and hydrogen are known as hydrocarbons, and benzobutyrantine is part of a group called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAH, a group of organic compounds made up of multiple aromatic rings fused together. The structure of benzobutyrantine is 4 benzene rings fused around a 5-membered ring in the center. Aromatic hydrocarbons can be sourced naturally through incomplete combustion, and benzobutyrantine is no exception. It can be found in the smoke from gas, cigarettes, tobacco, and incomplete combustion of organic matter. It can also be produced through the decomposition or pyrolysis of amino acids and fatty acid products. In the US, benzobutyrantine is primarily used as a research chemical in labs, but there are also a few other industry uses. It can be used as a component in coal tar pitch, as a binder for electrodes in lithium batteries, or in creosote, which can be used to preserve wood. Currently, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration has set the exposure limit for benzobutyrantine to an average of 0.2 milligrams per cubic meter over an 8-hour work shift, meaning the exposure levels throughout the entire shift must average out to about 0.2 milligrams per cubic meter or less. Right now, benzobutyrantine is listed as a hazardous substance and as a probable carcinogen, but there is not enough research to confirm a relationship between carcinogenesis and benzobutyrantine exposure, but it is suspected that its carcinogenic form is a result of oxidation. It is also a known component of other things that are related to cancer in humans, such as cigarette smoke. As with many aromatic hydrocarbons, it is highly soluble in adipose tissues and in lipids, and it is readily taken in by mammals and is oxidized, and the metabolites are excreted. The effects of the remaining amount on the body have not been thoroughly researched up to this point. There are a number of possible health issues related to benzobutyrantine exposure, and it is important to know the correct steps to take in case of exposure. Common exposure routes are the skin, inhalation, and ingestion. And it has been seen that benzobutyrantine can be absorbed directly through the skin, lungs, and gastrointestinal tract. In the case of direct exposure to the skin, it is important to remove any clothing that has been soiled by the chemical and then wash the exposed area with soap and water. Exposure to the skin can cause irritation and possibly be linked to cancer development. In one study, 3 groups of 20 mice were subject to dermal applications of either 0.01, 0.1, or 0.5% doses of benzobutyrantine in acetone 3 times a week. Within 8 months, 100% of the subject in the 0.5 group developed skin papillomas and 90% developed carcinomas. In the 0.1% group, after 12 months, 65% had developed papillomas and 85% carcinomas. And in the lowest dose group, only 1 individual had developed a papilloma after 14 months. In the case of inhalation, transport the victim to a medical facility and lay them on their sides if they become unconscious. Inhalation of benzobutyrantine can lead to respiratory irritation and possible carcinomas. In another study on rats, groups of 35 received lung implants of 0.1, 0.3, or 1.0 milligrams of benzobutyrantine. An untreated control group was also used in the study, and the results found that after a lifetime of observation, there was a dose-related increased incidence of epidermoid carcinomas and pleomorphic sarcomas in the lung and thorax, both combined. The observed incidences were 1 in 35, 3 in 35, and 13 in 35 in the low, mid, and high dose groups. No lung tumors were reported in the untreated and vehicle control groups. The results of these studies suggest that there is a relationship between exposure to benzobutyrantine through skin or through inhalation and the development of cancers, although there is not currently enough evidence or research to confirm these findings. Not much research has been done on exposure through eye contact or ingestion. There have been instances, though, where irritation has occurred. In the case of eye contact, it is important to wash the eyes for several minutes with cold water and seek medical attention if irritation persists. Serious health issues can be related to the use and/or exposure of benzobutyrantine. It is important to note that it can be harmful if swallowed, causes skin irritation, causes serious eye irritation, may cause cancer, may cause respiratory irritation, may cause damage to organs through prolonged or repeated exposure. It is also important to obtain special instructions before use. Do not handle until all safety precautions have been read and understood. Do not breathe dust, fume, gas, or mist. Wash thoroughly after handling. Do not eat, drink, or smoke when using this product. Use only outdoors or in a well-ventilated area. Wear protective gloves, protective clothing, eye protection, face protection. If swallowed, call a poison center or doctor if you feel unwell. Rinse mouth. If on skin, wash with plenty of water. If inhaled, remove person to fresh air and keep comfortable with breathing. If in eyes, rinse cautiously with water for several minutes. Remove contact lenses if present, and continue to rinse. If exposed to or concerned, get medical advice if you feel unwell. Take off contaminated clothing and wash it before reuse. If skin irritation occurs, get medical advice. If eye irritation persists, get medical advice. Store in a well-ventilated place. Keep container tightly closed. Store locked up. Dispose of in accordance with local, regional, or national regulations. Do not use benzodiazepine for anything. You're pregnant or planning to become pregnant.